this week's vlog. Today we are taking Finley to dressage at Forest Edge Arena and doing the elementary 44 dressage test. We're kind of taking him out because we haven't been out with him since like summer really. He hasn't really done any shows for a little while, and we've obviously got the London International horse show in December. And I don't want him to just be thrown into the deep end and go to a massive show. So I just wanted to start ticking him along with some dressage, keeping him cool-headed and well-schooled. And because tonight I'm on at 4 o'clock, so it's going to be a little bit dark. It's going to be indoor. It's an ideal place to practice for London. So technically we are going to do dressage, but it's kind of for me just a little London prep. I was hoping it was going to be at like 1 o'clock or something, because the dressage started at 9 this morning, but my time's 4 o'clock, so it's a very, very busy show. And also we have now got Finley in a double bridle, which is 2 bits. He's in a Weymouth and Bradoon combination, because my showing instructor has advised it is more correct to be in a proper double bridle. So we've started to school him in that, and we can do an elementary test in the 2 bits, which is also a great way of just schooling him in it. I've been trying to ride in it like once a week. But yeah, we're going to go down the yard, we're going to groom him, we're going to clean his tail up, we're going to plait him and see what he's general looking like. We're going to ride him in his full London show tack, his show saddle and his show bridle. And yeah, hopefully he does a nice dressage test and just behaves and isn't too spooky, because he has been quite fiery the last few days. So I've just got to the yard, brought the boys in. I want Finley to look really, really clean, but I don't really want to bath him. I'd say the temperature today is about 6 degrees, so it's not very warm. His body's clean because he stays rugged all year round. It's just his neck, his legs, his tail, his mane. So I've got the kettles on behind me. We keep 2 kettles at the yard, as well as having the hot horse shower. And I'm just going to get some buckets of like water that's the temperature I'd have a shower in, and try and sort of soak his tail and then give it a really good wash. Do his tail first and then assess his body, and hopefully he can get away with just the Haas brushes, but we might have to just use some on his neck and stuff. But yep, and then it'll be plaiting time. I thought I'd do a little before and after of his tail. So this is his tail before. And that's his tail done. It's pretty silky. And we bathed that with the Absorb-Sheen 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. This one, it's a bit muddy. Along with the Absorb-Sheen Showing Shine. Now to tackle those muddy hocks and the very muddy head and neck. So I ended up having to do his back legs, just wetting them, and I used this Absorb-Sheen stain remover just to give him a rub with a cloth and then just rinse them off. Did a bit of his neck, and I'm hoping it's going to dry. Looks slightly cleaner, but I'm going to get his Thermotex on and assess the main neck. Thinny, but I'm not very happy with his neck. Look how it's gone all yellowy, but I'm hoping it will dry, and when it dries it won't be so bad, hopefully. That doesn't look amazing, but hopefully. I don't really want to chuck more water at it, because then you end up like bathing the whole horse. We've just finished plaiting and Finley's listening to this absolute banger. I don't know if you can hear it on the radio. I've just got to do his forelock. They've come out all right actually. He's got a really nice length of mane at the minute, and it's nice and thin, so it's much easier to plait. Yeah, they're okay considering I've just chucked bands in. Just got to do the forelock. And look, this side, still a little bit yellowy, but it's loads better. Donnie, I'm going to chuck you out as an experiment and see what happens, whether Donnie goes through the fencing or not. Good boy, Finny. I need to pick his feet out, oil his hooves, chuck him back in the stable for a bit, and then chuck him out. And then I'm going to get dressed before I go to make it as easy as possible, because I've just got my husband coming to help me tonight. And he's not very hands-on. And he's bringing the dog. So I want to make sure as much is done before I leave. The finished product. Still a bit mucky, but don't love the neck. Good boy. Just chucked Donnie out. I've given him like access to this nice paddock here. Trying to encourage him to eat some grass. At the minute he's just standing there waiting for Finley. He's not going nuts or anything, but he is neighing. I've just got to try and not worry about him. I mean, if he goes through the fencing, he can't technically kind of like get off the farm too much. But there are other horses he can see. It's just not his best friend ever. But he's got to get on with it because Finley's going to be going away for 2 days to London, so can't live our life not being able to do things. So we'll see. Ah, we're ready to go. Got my hair in a bun. It's a bit messy, but yeah, got my stuff on. My shirt, white jumps, new boots. Let's load him. Just leaving the farm. We're going to go pick up Lewis and Spud, and hopefully they're not going to get my white jodhpurs too mucky, and get there hopefully with plenty of time to do a good warm in, because he was very silly to load, so I think he's in one of his moods. I'm going to start off by saying this is the harshest judge on the planet, and this is the worst score Finley has ever scored in his life. But lots of people scored really low, so we were all in the same boat. Starting off with entering at A and working trot and halting, saluting at X, she scored us a 4.5 because he stepped 1 foot back, which I thought was ridiculously harsh considering he was straight. And he did a nice halt when he did halt and stay immobile. Then it was C turn left, E turn left, B turn right, which we scored a 7, and there was no comment. This is in collected trot. The next movement was at K, where we had to circle right and do a 10 metre circle. She scored us a 6.5 and said needs to stay forwards on the circle, but this was in collected trot, so I mean he shouldn't have been going much faster than that. I actually thought the circle was quite nice. The next movement is E, circle right 10 metre diameter to X, X half circle to B, and she scored us a 5.5 and said the first half was too small and there was no bend. Yeah, the first half was maybe a little bit small, but I think there was bend. I mean, you can see him bending around my inside leg. So I thought that was a little bit harsh, but moving on was a 10 metre circle at M, and she scored this a 5, and she said it was far too large. So we're just going to look now. Not really. I turned at C, which is where a 10-metre circle should be. So maybe it was a little bit large from where she was seeing, but yeah. HEK at medium trot, and she said he was drifting, so she scored him a 6. Yeah, he was a little bit spooky towards the outside, and it wasn't the best medium trot. The next movement was FXH, change the rein in medium trot, and I thought this was a very good medium trot for Finley. She scored this a 6.5, which was fine. C, halt immobility for 6 seconds and proceed in medium walk. And she scored this a 6 because she said he failed for immobility. But Lewis actually zooms in on this, and I'd say he's standing pretty still, and this was a really good halt. So I thought a 6 was really harsh because it was perfectly square, in my opinion. MXK changed the rein free walk on a long rein, and she scored this a 4, underlining the fact that he didn't stretch forwards. Finley, I mean, he finds it really hard to stretch, and stretching has never been his strong point, but a 4 would indicate that he didn't perform the movement. If you actually check on the top of the British dressage sheet, a 4 is insufficient, but you know, to me, he did complete the movement. And next is a canter transition before A, which he scored a 5, along with his circle in 15 metres at A. She said the circle was too large, but yeah, maybe it was a little bit large, but I think a 5 is a little bit harsh. FM, a loop 5 metres in from the track, and she scored this a 7 and said it was accurate. So that was very nice. This is where it gets a little bit muddled. We had to do a change of rein through trot, HXF, and Finley spooks and breaks the trot a little bit early. So we did a few more trot strides than I was hoping, but to score it a 3.5 is a bit harsh. A, circle right 15 metres, she scored this a 5, and she said it was too big. But I don't think it was that big. You know, I'm not on the track, but and then this next shallow loop, she scores a 5 and says he loses the balance, and he was super spooky at the letter here. You can see him going, I'm spooked, so that's fine. And then we had to do a simple change across X in a moment, and this wasn't great, but she scored it 3, which I thought was really mean. There was just too many trot strides, but the actual canter transition wasn't that horrendous. K, working trot, A down the centre line, X medium walk, G halt immobility salute. She scored this a 5. She really didn't like it. She said he fell through the trot, and he halted early, but I thought he did a cracking halt, and it's exactly where G is. I mean, any further along and we would be in the judges' box. And then she scored it a 6.5 for paces, impulsion, submission and rider's position, and said I rode him really well, but very harsh. So we have just finished our test, and I've got the blue lights on in the lorry. It was a bit of a disaster, if I'm honest. It started off well, and then as we picked up the canter work, and he just wasn't like bending around my leg and sort of focusing on me. He was spooking at the letters, and it basically just got very messy very quickly. So I'm expecting to not have a great score. That was probably the worst test we've done in a very long time. He was so soft and lovely in the contact. He just lost focus and started to mess about basically, and just didn't listen to my leg. And I actually had to smack him a few times in the test, which wasn't great. But we're going to go see if they've done the mark sheets and look at the comments and see if they're as bad as I would write them. So this is our test sheet. Yeah, really bad. Thank you, Spud. Thank you. Even though, you know, we've never scored under 60% ever. Someone actually scored 27%. So this judge was a real meanie. I'm not going to disclose who the judge was because it's not fair. But out of the day, the most positive thing was Donnie stayed in his field. So that was good. Yeah. Guys, that was disastrous. We got the worst score he's ever got in the history of ever, basically. Oh, yeah. But he was nice in the warm-up to ride. and I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. So I will see you all next week. Bye. Say bye, Spud.